So I'm going to call this meeting to order. Pursuant to Governor Baker's COVID-related orders, we are meeting tonight via remote participation. A copy of Grafton's public meeting remote participation guideline is available on the town website for reference. And we'll just do a roll call. Greg Marr.
Here.
Matt Opton.
Here.
Jeremy Graves.
Here.
Sue Robbins.
Here.
Colleen Roy here. And Amy Marr will be with us momentarily. So the first thing on the agenda is to review the capital package final recommendations. Did you guys all get a chance to go back and rescore after our discussion last time, or?
I went back and looked, but I didn't rescore anything. I felt satisfied with what I did.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm all set.
Okay.
Yep, I did some rescoring.
All right. So I went in and rescored as well. I changed the total amount we're going to be using to 1.1 million because that's more realistic of what we're going to be using. That's that 750 free cash and 360 of the capital stabilization, which Carter kind of led us to believe. And when you see that, we fund just about everything on our list. If you take out the George Hill engineering plans, that's not in there.
Would you put it on the screen, Colleen?
I got that. You want me to do it?
Yeah, Greg, that'd be great. Thanks.
So there was a little bit of confusion because we had left in other funding for truck 44 because we were trying to say, okay, what would it be without this when we did the we were working around with it last time, so it was a little bit higher than thought it was. So.
Okay. So yeah, that was still there when I had done it earlier. So that was my other question too. We had other funding for the engineering. Was that just for fun? That's why we popped it over there?
Yeah, that was how to remove them from the list. What would happen if we didn't fund those and just left out all the orderings the same? So
okay.
I meant to take those out again at the end of the night and I didn't. So I just did that tonight.
So now that brings us back up to the repaved playground pretty much?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that gives us 10 projects funded in the 1.11 million.
Right, and that assumes that the fire truck engine 1 is a lease.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
How does everybody feel about this? Like, do we want to recommend George Hill Engineering, or do we want to, or, is there anything else that we can tweak in our recommendations so that other projects could get funded?
I don't want to change anything. I think George Hill Engineering can wait one more year.
Okay. But what about some of the schools and DPW asks that are, I don't know.
Yeah, that load of 38. I think the indications were I'm not sure what they're going to do if they can't get that inspected.
Right.
I could definitely see moving those above George Hill Engineering.
Yep.
And our recommendation.
Still below the funding line though.
Yeah, but they might say, okay, DPW might say the loader 38 is more important than truck 42 at this point. They could say loader 38 and the mower replace 42.
The other thing too is, if we take into account other funding sources like the enterprise account for sewer and then the library bond, we're still hitting a good majority of the list.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. That's true.
Mhm.
You know, that the whole bottom of the list gets funded just with other funds.
And if we were to just take 100,000 of that 800,000 that we're raising, we could fund quite a few more projects too. We could fund the loader 38, the zero turn mower, the tile floors, the lawn tractor.
So this is without any of the new stabilization?
This is without any of it. I think Carter's thought process was to try not to touch it at all, and then it's there for us next year. And then it's gonna be up to him to decide, you know, and then if you made George Hill kind of other funding again and bop that out, you would see it would go down much further.
Yeah, it would get you all the way to the
Adams
school
Road.
district's lawn tractor.
Mhm.
Yeah, so without George Hill, you get this.
Yeah, and that's significant, I think.
Yep.
So how do we want to word our recommendation? Are we going to be writing up something to like a narrative to go with it to say, here's the prioritized list, here is some thoughts we had. If you were to just even use 100,000, this is how many more projects you would get. Or are we just kind of leaving it up to the town administrator to determine that?
It would be nice to share with him how we got to where we got.
Okay.
I think he would like to know what our thinking process was, whether he agrees with it or not, but we should probably share that with him.
Okay. So we want to give him something tomorrow. Typing up a narrative, is that something that you guys trust that I can do tonight if I share with you, or is that something you guys are going to want to share, review, and edit together? Or does somebody else want to try, take it to writing it? I don't mind if somebody else wants to try as well. Okay,
I
Sue
have no
trusts
problem
me.
if I trust you.
Okay,
I trust you. I don't think we have to explain a lot of it. I think it's where we did maybe semi-strange things like the assumption of a lease on the fire truck and whatnot. We definitely need to explain where we don't just go straight down the line.
okay.
Yeah, I think we can just potentially just talk through the things that we want to mention in terms of our thought process and the way we scored, and then individual line items that need notes. But I'm happy for you to just kind of write that up based on our discussion.
Okay. So let's
Yes, quite-
add
quite happy.
any additional notes you guys think would be relevant, like maybe next to George Hill, we recommend postponing a year before funding.
Well, so should we, I mean, let's just say you fell into 300,000. Are we saying we don't want George Hill to be next on the list? Because if we're saying that, then we should present a list that says that.
There
Like we
is,
shouldn't just say, here's how we voted, this is how it fell, but ignore number 11 on the list.
Matt, what is the name of that committee that looks at all the roads and prioritizes them to spend the override money?
It's a good question.
I don't remember the name of them, but I'm sure that they're looking at this too, and he probably would want input from them
Yeah.
concerning George Hill Road.
I'd agree with that.
So I would say that if we have $1.11 million, then we can do up through number 10. If we have $1.21 million, we can do up through 15 if we don't do George Hill Engineering. If we do, we don't have enough to do George Hill Engineering without getting up to 1.4 million.
Yep.
So that's why we would say that if we could use another $100,000, we can get these 4 additional projects funded that came after George Hill Engineering in priority, but we don't have enough money to do George Hill Engineering this year with these other 10 that we've prioritized.
Yep. So we could just put in a note to ask Carter to consider only funding a portion of the George Hill Road engineering to fund other initiatives. And then just kind of leave it up to him how he thinks about that. I guess one of my concerns with George Hill as well is just I feel like a big part of the reason that we got, approval in the override vote for a capital stabilization was to reduce the amount of debt bonding that we did. And, if that kind of feeds into, I would imagine with George Hill, if we want to do it, we'd want to do it consecutively. So you do your engineering and then you would roll right into doing that road. And I think, the overall project, when it was originally proposed, soup to nuts was like a $4 million project. So there may be some additional discussions that need to be happening in terms of, is that realistic to bring forward such a large project all at the same time? And do we want to start it this year, understanding that next year that's going to take up a large amount of our capacity?
Okay.
So I like that note.
Can you say that one more time, Matt?
I can. It's just I feel like a part of the reason that we got the override was to reduce the amount of debt exclusions.
But how specifically does that tie to George Hill?
So George Hill, I would imagine we would want to do the engineering and then we want to roll right into actually doing the work. And the originally proposed project that was in the capital list from last year was a $4 million project. So it may require some additional discussions in terms of how we actually get that done. Do we want to go for a debt exclusion for the actual implementation part of it? Do we want to try to save for a few years? And if we're going to be, saving a portion for a couple of years to be able to then do the consecutive design and implementation of the road, then maybe we want to take a little bit less for that this year and just leave it in the capital stabilization as an example. So that, it just seems like that it's a $4 million, range project. It probably requires some additional discussion because it feels like it's different than other things on this list.
Okay.
Just because of the magnitude of it. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yep. Okay. Were there any other notes on any of the other requests that felt important to express to Carter? So what about Adams Road, for example? They have CPA money that just goes back to CPA if they don't do their project, or they have to find another way to fund that, or
I think that might actually be able to be broken down into two projects. The $500 is an estimate of the land acquisition costs, mostly just going to be paperwork recording. And then the 55,000 was the cost for demolition of the existing building, which would not be covered by CPC.
All right.
Did we get anything about the service counters? We were gonna inquire with the proposer about that.
We did not, because I did not send an email out to them. We wanted to talk to building, we wanted to talk to fire, we wanted to talk to rec, and we wanted to double check something with DPW, but I didn't have any dates to offer them to come in to talk to us because we never set our schedule. So I was
Okay.
gonna talk about that tonight, setting our future schedule for the early part of December, so that I can shoot off an email tomorrow to say, hey, we're meeting on these days, can you come in on one of those days?
Okay. Yeah, I just had in the minutes that it was gonna be for tonight, but
Yep.
it might have just been improper recording.
No, you were right. It was meant for tonight for me to let you know that they'll be coming in on these days going forward, but I didn't have any days to offer them. All right, is there anything else about this you guys want to talk about? Or have we kind of talked it to death here?
I'm happy with the prioritized list that we have.
I feel like it's pretty solid, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And then, so I guess we're just moving on to when can we meet again to bring people in for our final clarity, or do you guys even want final clarity on these projects?
I think if they come in, it would be final clarity for when we prioritize for the 5 years.
Yep.
I don't think I want clarity to put them into any of this prioritized list we have here right now.
Okay.
At least that's my opinion. So, but Bob may want to have something started in the next capital round.
Okay. So when can you guys meet next week? Like, does Monday work well for people? I mean, maybe if we did 7:30, Greg, would that be easier for Amy?
You're muted.
No, I'm here.
Oh, I can't see you. Oh, hi.
No, I've been here. I've been eating and nobody wants to watch me do that. No, I can't do Monday
Okay,
and I can't do Tuesday either.
okay.
But I mean, if the majority of the committee can meet, don't let me be the holdup.
Wednesday's totally out for me, but I can do Thursday or Tuesday.
Okay,
I
Do
could
Thursday.
I could do Thursday,
all right.
but Greg can't. Unless he's going to skip that thing that's on the calendar.
Oh, yeah, no. Oh wait, next.
The 10th, right?
Yeah, I'm looking.
Okay.
No, so there's already 2 things I could be doing that Thursday night. So
Okay.
10th? What about Tuesday, Greg? The 8th? Oh, you've got a school committee meeting, right?
I
Yeah.
do. I do.
I think we're meeting too, right, Matt?
Yep.
The 9th, I know you said that didn't work for you, Sue, but does that work? Well, I guess that's tough because the 10th seems to work for a lot of people and then, except Greg.
If we do the 9th, because I have a Zoom thing at 8 o'clock that I really don't want to miss.
Okay,
We could do a little earlier, or if we don't think it's going to be more than an hour. If I'm a few minutes late, that's all right.
yeah, we could do 6:30 or a 6 o'clock start. Does that work for people? Does 6 o'clock work on the 9th?
Yeah.
The ninth's not, hate to be a pain in the neck. It's not good. The ninth's not gonna work for me.
9th's not good for Matt or really Sue. Okay,
Well, why don't we go back to Monday? I was the only one that couldn't do Monday.
everybody else can do Monday? The 7th?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Sorry, Amy.
That's all right.
Okay,
I mean, if we start at 7 and we're done by 8, I can be there.
okay.
I wouldn't think it would be too long a meeting.
I don't think so either, just to hear what their explanations are. Okay, so we'll
December
start there.
7th.
Yep,
Okay.
All right. We don't have any did you guys want to schedule any other meetings after that? Or when do you envision doing the 5-year plan? Do you want to just get through the holidays and start that in January? Did you want to start tackling that before the holidays? I think everybody's schedules are starting to get a little crazier. So whatever you guys feel, we don't technically have a deadline, so I can feel Carter out for that. I imagine he would want it sooner than later, though. I don't think we have till forever.
I just can't wait till after the holidays. My calendar is so full right now before Christmas.
I could definitely use a break.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll meet on the 7th. We'll hear what people have to say, and then we'll start, but chip away and pick some January dates on that day. See how everyone feels at that point.
Love it.
Okay.
Do you want a vote or a motion, I guess, on approving this list as it exists, plus, authorization to just write up some commentary and send it off to Carter?
I would love that.
So moved.
Second,
Okay, motion and a second. We'll take a vote. Greg,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Amy,
aye.
Jeremy,
I,
Pauline, aye. Motion passes. Great. And I will definitely send it all out to you guys for input if I can try to get it done as fast as possible. I don't see it being very long, and then you guys can critique it and get it back to me, and I can try to have it all out to him tomorrow or tomorrow afternoon kind of thing.
Colleen, would you mind just asking Carter if he has a set date in mind for the rest of the 5-year plan?
Mhm. Good point.
Yes.
So that kind of gives us a timetable, and I hate to have it just floating out there. I'd rather have him give us some kind of a deadline.
Yep. I agree.
That
I
way,
will ask him that for sure. Where's my highlight? All right.
So next meeting is Monday, December 7th.
Yes. So is there anything else anybody had to discuss tonight?
yes, you guys did a good job.
I was pleased with the process. I think
Yeah.
it worked for our first time around.
Yeah.
I feel like it was pretty good. Came up with a good result. I think the spreadsheet did its intended function and just spurring conversation and teasing out how the different members think about prioritizing and categorizing and whatnot. I liked it. I think there is some data analysis to do after the fact, but stuff that we can do once we get this out.
And I have to commend the departments of getting their forms in on time and not dragging their feet on that. I appreciate
Absolutely.
that.
All right. Well, if that's everything, we can take a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, by roll call, Greg,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Amy,
Aye.
Jeremy,
I.
and Colleen is aye. All right, good night, everybody.